All right, hello collective. Um, I am introducing a new little series on this channel. I don't have a name exactly for it just yet, but right now we're gonna call it the trauma series. And what I intend to do is to go through all sorts of different traumas, talking about how they affect the mind, your actions, all these things, your thought patterns, your emotional behaviors, even down to how it affects you on an individual, not really on an individual, but like you on a plane of your own. I wouldn't really say individual, because I'm not going to be able to get everyone's story. But this is basically an infinite trial. The way that Spirit put it on me was an infinite demo of the one-on-one work that I do. Of course, it's not gonna be very personalized. It's not gonna be something where um like I don't want it to get twisted because a lot of people always get stuff twisted whenever I make examples and stuff. They'll think that I'm talking about them in their life. It's an example. I'm not meaning for it to resonate. If it does, cool. If it doesn't, whatever. This isn't to give any form of backbone. This isn't to give any form of pointing fingers and being like, well, they deserved it because XYZ. We're not going around in circles. This is for healing purposes only. I need to like get that out because there's a lot of confusion. Um, and I'm just we those that are still stuck in that circle of blaming, whenever they can and whenever they will, they'll catch up to pace, but that's on them and not anyone else. You know, of course, it's going to be a safe zone venting and all these things, or in the comments to a degree, of course. But again, this is like a basically a little trial series, for what I'm going to do with the one-on-one, and it's not going to just be talking about trauma in general. I have a whole list, and like, for example, a few things that I have on here is abandonment trauma, workplace trauma, self trauma, interactional trauma, religious and spiritual traumas, things of that nature. um and I'm not going to go too in depth because these are just the subject matters and everything else is beneath it. So, and I'm not going to list off every trauma either, that we're going to be talking about. So I do encourage you in the comments to comment whatever trauma you feel you need healed from. Don't go, here's how we're going to label it. Of course, like I'm going to figure it out my own, but to make things easier, instead of saying like I need help from healing from trauma from my sister, just say that you have family trauma, because that fits the scope of how and what we're actually going to be talking about, rather than focusing on sister. Because if I did it that way, I would have to focus on sister trauma, brother trauma. I have to focus on first cousin, second cousin trauma. I would literally have to go all the way and do all those subjects to fit that criteria. That's what you're asking for when you're asking for it in that way. You're asking for a pinpoint rather than a general consensus that will cover all the pinpoints within, right? It's like you go to the store, right? And you're like, oh, I want to buy bread. And you go there to the bread section and you're like looking at the bread because you are wondering, oh, what bread I want. Usually people just walk by and pick up whatever fucking bread they get. You know what I mean? Some people do that. Some people already know in their head what kind of bread they're wanting. So when they go to the store, they're immediately looking for that bread. That's just an example to put. That's how I'm running this. That's how this is going to be. It's simplified so that you don't confuse yourself or get sucked into an energy that would be redundant. Not redundant for healing purposes, but redundant for explaining. um because it's not giving what you're needing. It's just giving your situation. And again, like, if you are wanting situational helps where it's very personalized and strictly for your for your situation, that's why I have the one-on-one service for. um but we will be talking about all sorts of different traumas and going down that list whenever. And again, I do encourage you to just go down in the comments and comment, even if you don't know what it generally falls under. I can figure it out either way, but it's to help clean up um the labeling of it. You know what I mean? Instead of calling it sister trauma, you just call it family trauma because your sister is part of your family. If you have trauma with your sister, that's its own realm of what you could need to be healing from rather than just saying it's family, which would help you on a grander scale heal in steps rather than giving everything to you point blank, right? And I know a lot of people want to hear stuff point blank, but at the same time, it doesn't help if you're not. It's like you go to the doctor and you break your arm, right? They need to find where the bone broke first. They need to find where the split happened. They just can't go in like, yeah, your arm's broke. We don't know what to do about it, so we're just gonna put it. We're just gonna ignore the whole X-ray scene and just put a cast on it and hope it works. No, we have to like actually go in. So that's what I've been doing, and that's what I've been absent for a while too. I've been getting myself not only energetically but mentally prepared for this as well because it this is going to be pretty heavy. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm very excited to do this. The idea was just put on to me. I've been thinking about doing this for a while, but it was put on to me so heavily. Last night when I was in a spiritual bath, that I was like, you know what? It's. I think I'm ready. I have a small list of things already. Um, but yeah, that's what we're gonna be doing here soon. Don't expect them to be daily back to back things, especially for the heavier topics. Of course, we're going to need resting for that. And as well, after receiving the information, I don't want to bombard anyone. Doesn't matter if you've already feel like you've healed from a situation or not. It's not just about one individual person, it's about the collective as a whole. So I don't want to post a bunch of videos back to back to back and then have you just watch it then. I'd rather it be like an evolutionary thing. um, and we're gonna do our best to stick with one topic until it's complete. There's not going to be a set amount of videos for each topic. I'm going to try, but the plan is to make this a full on thing that I do with the channel. And then eventually pushing it into like the background and not having it as such a main focus. But this is where the channel's going. This is what I want to do with it. This is what I'm feeling called to do. So I'm gonna do my best to stick with one topic. So let's say we start off with family trauma, right? We'll start off with family trauma, right? But then it's like, well, what if like down the line we start talking about family relationships within the trauma? Well, then that goes into a form of relationship trauma, right? Would we just jump to relationship trauma? No, we would stick with the family trauma. I would just make notes of relationship trauma, how it connects, and then do it like that. But I'm gonna do my best to do that. I'm gonna have them in separate playlists as well. And then probably just a gigantic playlist of everything going back to back. Again, there's not gonna be like a set amount of videos for each one of these. I'm going to go until I get the alert to go to the next topic, and then we're gonna go to the next topic. If any new um information that I get comes up, if any new downloads, if I get a new if I'm faced with a new idea to talk about when it comes to those subjects, of course I'm going to jump back on it. But that's the only part where it might start getting sporadic. But for the main part, we're going to keep it as straightforward as we can. But this is one of the bigger projects that I've been working on that I've been really excited to kind of delve into. Now I will say this because I just remembered to say this as well. While I was in the spiritual bath, I was talking with my guides, and I was like, "So what about the traumas that I'm not sure of? Like, I'm not. I've never had a child, let alone have I never had a child taken from me. Right? How am I gonna use personal experience for that?" And to answer that question, I what I can do is mirror help, so I know what it feels like to have parents taken from me. I know how it feels to be a child who is lost or under a supervision of not so trustworthy individuals, right? I know it from that standpoint, so I can give my experience, my thoughts, how I was working through it, and this is the best I can do, right? Not only that, but I will be doing research on people who have that type of trauma as well, because I don't know everything. I've not gone through every trauma in my 25 years of living, right? So I'm not gonna know how to help. I'm not gonna know how to fully give the best advice for everything, right? So don't take me as like a doctor or anything. All I'm doing is observing human life, observing human behavior, and understanding the subjects at play and how they can affect the psyche, right? Just so that you can move forward a little bit easier. So I'm gonna be doing my best with all these topics. And again, like it's not coming from a personal experience. So for things that I have less experience in, they're gonna be a lot less personally involved. And I don't want y'all to think that whenever I start speaking about my own experiences, that it's like a distraction from how to heal from it. In contrary, it's to show you how someone that's already gone through that type of trauma has healed from those things or is still continuously healing from them regardless, right? It's important to look at it from that spectrum. um and as well as if you have if when we get to a subject, right, and this is for future tense, so don't do this now because this is I'm planting seeds, right? We're farmers. um Whenever there comes a subject that we're on, and let's say that you have knowledge of it, so let's go back to I don't mean for this to be a trigger, but we need to talk about it. So let's go back to the child thing, right? Let's say that you have lost a child, either the to services or they went to the next life. You could email me how you healed from it or your healing process from it, right? Won't name your name, won't shout you out or anything. It will just generally be me saying information. Like I'll either say something like, "Oh, I received this information," or someone emailed me and told me about their experience, and yada yada yada, right? And we'll go through that and we'll give how like their key points and all these things. But I want this to be a very community healing energy for it. So if we even if it's like, let's say it's on workplace trauma. Let's say we're talking about trauma within the workplace where you have coworkers and stuff that are just being dicks, right? Or harassing you or however. You got a weird ass boss, right? If I've never personally had a weird boss, I've definitely had people that I've worked with that were not of the stable variant, but I've never had like a weird boss before. So in that scenario, someone that's dealt with that type of situation. Now, of course, I've been around people that's had those types of situations. I know how they can affect people, but I've never had it happen to me personally, right? So let's say you were someone that was affected by like a weird boss or weird coworkers or however. Email me about it so that I'm able to delve into it more when we get to that topic, right? And that's what I want. Why I'm wanting to keep things really concise, and why I'm not wanting people to berard me right now, because right now we're just getting the plan made. Right now, I have a few subjects unnamed, of course, because I don't know which one I'm going to begin with first. I don't know which one God the Most High, Allah, wants me to do first. I just know that I was called to do it. So that's why I don't need so much berardment, other than what do you need? What healings are you looking into getting? What kind of traumas have you gone through that could possibly be talked about? And I will do my best to talk about all of them. And this is going to be a very, very long term project. This is not going to be like a 2 week thing. Again, this is going to be a long project. It's going to go on, um, hopefully for the next few years, if not more, because again, this is something that needs to be talked about. And since not everyone has access to therapy, and with most of the times therapy, it just seems like a not a good, and this is not me saying don't go to therapy, but a lot of times when people go to therapists, they don't get any sort of help because they're just being told um that, oh, you're overthinking, without explaining the process of overthinking. You know what I mean? And that's what I want to do. That's my thing. That's what I love to like look into is, why does the brain do this? Why do we do that? Why do we think that way? And looking back at myself who's gone through situations that have those energies and going, oh, so that's why I did it. So if that's how my brain works. And even though my brain is not like everyone else's brain, what I can do is do my best to put myself in other shoes, make up scenarios. Okay, so what if I wasn't so solidified? What if I didn't have this person or that person? What if I didn't have this? What if I didn't have that? Right? Putting myself in other people's shoes and then experiencing it that way. That's something I'm very, very good at. That's my gift, is being very observant in that area, especially when it comes to healing. From all the shit that I've gone through my entire life, like, it's bizarre. And it's not, it's not that it's never gonna end, but I mean, it's not, but um it's going to be something that's going to get easier for me going on because of how observant I am, because of just knowing what's going on around me, and seeing the environment, how the environment shifts within you, and then how when that happens, then the environment really changes in realities aspect and all these things. And it's just no one's really talking about these points. Everyone wants to keep things like, and I don't think this the wrong way, but people want to keep things too spiritual. They want to go, oh, everything's black magic. If like magic is the new like kink word, I'm gonna say it like that too, because everyone's attracted. Everyone loves hearing, oh my god, it's black magic. Oh my god, it's energy projection. Sometimes that doesn't do anything but hurt you, because now you're afraid of everyone sending you black magic, because now all of a sudden that black magic's real and all this energy projection is real, now you're having memories of your dog that you had when you were 10 years old that was stolen, and now you think that some bruiser put a curse on you because your dog was stolen, when in actuality your dog was just given away because no one could take care of it, right? It's these things that, yes, they're real, but when the general consciousness grabs a hold of it, it ends up getting so fucked up because there's so much new energy being put into a new bottle. And it's like, fuck, now what do we do? Well, I don't know what to do, because you put yourself in this bottle and now you can't find your way out. So instead of just leaving you trapped in the bottle, we're going to have a gateway for you to try and leave. um because even though, yeah, all these things happen, not well, here's what I'm gonna say: not everyone is um consciously attacked by magic, okay? And at the same time of me saying that, everyone is consciously under some form of spell, whether they are aware of it or not. It's their conscious that's put under the spell. It's their forefront thinking, right? And that in itself seeps back into the subconscious, which is your ins and outs, your matrices, if you will. Um, and it's just breaking that down, because at the end of the day, this realm is mental. You have no control over your mental, then guess what? Shit's gonna happen. It's like learning a new subject. You don't know how to speak Spanish, so you go into Spanish. So you go into the Spanish class, and all of a sudden, you get thrown in your face all sorts of words that you have to learn and then recite the next week. And it's like, fuck, look at all these things I have to learn, right? It's just more on top of more. It's that same pressure that's put on. Um, and even for those that are, have already known about magic being real and been versed in it, right? The fact that the attacks have gotten worse isn't because people hate you. It's bigger than that, right? The Luciferians, the Luciferian Church, the music industries, um, the governmental controllings of our food and nutritions and all that stuff are being exposed for the spells that they've been casting on society for quite some time after the reset. So this is like getting back to who you are, you know? Everyone wants to talk about esotericism. What has esotericism done for you? What actual knowledge has it given you other than an opinion of someone that was either cracked out on drugs and couldn't heal from family trauma, so then they just fucking lost ace spadoodles? Or just a bunch of explanations of the same fucking thing that doesn't really help you out at all? Like, yeah, it gives you a wider expansion of seeing things, but those are all opinions and not the truth. It's the, you know what I mean? And the way that the general consciousness is being split is the people that believe that everything is truth, and then there's the people that believe that there is the one truth. The ones that believe that everything is the truth are being diluted by the understanding, and I'm using these words the way they need to be used, the understanding of there's a little bit of truth in everything. Yeah, but does that make it truth? No. That makes it as much truth as it's put out. It's still a majority opinion. It's still a majority fiction, a contortion, a story of the truth, right? Based off a true story, but the characters that are represented may not be correct. You know what I mean? So just we're here to break that spell. Um, and I'm gonna do my best to do that with trauma because I don't see many people doing it. Um, but yeah, that's where we're heading with this channel. Thank you all again for the patience. There's a lot that I'm wanting to do. Um, I if I if I could literally show y'all my brain with the ideas that I have, I would. I'd put it in a. I don't want to. I would like. I want. I would like to, but like at the same time, fuck doing it. But I would put my brain in a projector and show y'all all the ideas, all the plans, all the like subjects that I want to talk about. And some of the subjects I'm either not qualified for, so I have to do studying and meditations and all sorts of stuff to really get myself able to get there. And then on the other spectrum of not even the learning of the qualification aspect, I'm also doing things in my day-to-day life that I need to do for myself, and it gets very convoluted and confusing. And some days I'll just take, I mean, like for the how it's been the past few days, I haven't been uploading as much because I've been taking a lot of time to myself, which is very much needed. um I'm just trying to find a good schedule, a good balance between self interest and self workings and things of that nature, and then collective workings. That's a balance that I have to get. I was an overgiver. You know what I mean? I was a people, not really a people pleaser, yeah, but I was overgiving a lot. It was multiple times a day where I would be doing readings or be doing things or solely focusing on stuff for y'all, which isn't an issue for me, but I need to focus more on myself. Obviously, I'm still a kid. Like I'm not a kid, excuse me. I'm still a child. Um, so and I'm still learning stuff day to day. It's just how it is, and I need to be a little bit easier on myself when it comes to that because I get very exhausted very quickly. Especially after healing from a lot of traumas and stuff, I realized a lot of it was just overcompensation. Um, and a lot of it was fear of abandonment, fear of letting people down. And at the end of the day, it's not up to me if people are let down because I do my damnedest. People will just say whatever. They can be whatever, but you know, the amount that I try to do for people, the amount that I extend myself, this is a lot. So just trying to find a better balance for that is the absence. And again, like your all support throughout the absences, it means a lot still. We've lost a few people, but at the end of the day, I can't control that. The real ones are sticking around. The ones that know that we're going to be really diving into healing and getting these things done are going to be the ones to stick with us. This is also what I've been kind of hinting at when I've been, because not only the year of the snake, the year of nine, all of these symbols, and but as well as me saying like 2025 is going to be a very big healing year. This is a lot of what I was talking about when I would mention that, because we're gonna heal, and that doesn't mean we're going to um immediately be done and like bandaged up and be able to run outside and do all sorts of fun shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we're not gonna be like, we have broken legs and arms. We're not gonna immediately just repair instantaneously and then go out and start running again. No, it's gonna be a process, of course. But yeah, this is where we're heading. I just wanted to make this little video instead of making a post. I wanted to like make a video on it. But yeah, y'all can list stuff down. Hopefully within the next few days, I will have a solidified topic to talk about and a few notes. Um and as well as with the videos when they come out, we're gonna have intro videos for them. So the intro videos literally is gonna be the introduction of, oh hey, today we're talking on this, we're talking about, we'll just go with abandonment trauma first, right? We're gonna go, we'll talk about abandonment trauma. This is what abandonment trauma is, what it can, this is how it's defined, right? We're gonna break down like not necessarily the etymology of the word, but we're gonna break down what abandonment trauma is, where it roots from, how it can occur, all these things, and then boom, then we're gonna go into situationals. Then we're gonna go into this, and that. All right. No idea how long these videos are gonna be. Again, and there's not gonna be a set amount. Whenever I personally feel like we've hit it, not only from my own outlooks, but from the divine insight and outsight that I get, the inputs and outputs from the divine, from Allah, from the Most High that I get, was how we're gonna move with this moving forward. Um, and as always, like if there's more that needs to be touched on, we'll just jump back to it. There's no shame in the game when it comes to that. But thank you all so much for the patience, for all the support. And again, if you are, and I'm doing this a lot because I do get a lot of emails from people that want the one-on-one service, and even with the payment plans, it's like they can't afford it, and it's like that's fair, but like why would I shouldn't, I'm not gonna like gatekeep anything because that's like a personal thing. I could still talk about these subjects. um and again, it's just one of those things not many people talk about. People say, oh, healing is not that important, says the person that's not healed at all, says the person that has just pushed all that gunk down, um or has quote unquote had some form of awakening, which really would mean that you've overseen it. So that means you did heal from it, but people just don't like certain words for some reason. Regardless, um, we're gonna try and keep it as real as it can regardless though. But again, thank you all so much for the support. You know what to do. Everything's in the description. And please do, again, I am encouraging you all to comment in the comment sections whatever trauma there is. Try not to make repeat comments. I don't know how many, I don't know how many comments it's gonna get, obviously. But try not to do repeat ones. Try to, like, if you have, like, with whatever trauma that you have, and if you can, again, if you can't figure out what category it would fall under, just talk about it, just explain it very shortly. You don't have to write like a whole paragraph on it. That's not what's needed. You just need to talk about, like, you prove what the subject was, trauma, right? And then we'll add it to the list. But we have quite a few right now, and I'm not naming any just to see as well where people in this collective are at. That's why I'm not naming all of them, because it's like I need to find where we're sitting first, right? That's one of the parts of it. But again, I love you all so much, so much, to the moon and back, tenfold and forever. I'm very excited to jump into this because it's not only going to be a healing experience for you all, but as well for me. Even talking about points that I'm not even sure that I need it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how sometimes you just have that hidden trauma, like you don't even know that it's there until someone talks about it, and then you're like, oh fuck, I might have a little bit of this because X, Y, and Z. It's gonna be one of those. It's just gonna be a very freeing experience. Um, Hopefully that's what I'm wanting it to be, of course. Um, but yeah, I love you all so much. To the moon and back, tenfold and forever. Everything's in the description that you need. Please comment the traumas that you have. I will see you all later. Stay healthy, stay blessed. And I am excited to jump on this new journey with you all.